Hello folks, and welcome to Outside the Box Soaps. Today I am going to be doing a soap design that was inspired by a video that I saw on Soapify and on YouTube. So I really loved the design, and it was very interesting. It was done in a slab mold, and it was done using PVC pipes, but I don't have a slab mold or PVC pipe, so I'm going to try a different twist on this, and we're going to get to see what happens here. So my fragrance is Caribbean Escape, and that is from Bulk Apothecary. And I will let you see the mold when we're ready to do pouring. It's quite unusual, and I'm going to see what happens. I really don't know what will happen with it in a loaf mold, but we'll see. So today I'm using apricot kernel oil, canola, castor, coconut, mango butter, olive oil, and sweet almond. So I think we're ready to get started and get everything to emulsification. So this is going to be a swirled soap, and I do need to keep this pretty loose. So I'm taking a risk here. We'll see what happens. It can't possibly end up worse than the soap that I did the other day. But I guess I shouldn't say that because, you know, never say never. Anyway, so my lye water is in there. And I have some silk in here. And I'm also adding kaolin clay, and I'm adding some colloidal oatmeal. So I'm going to put that in right now. And see if we can't get this stirred up gently. I don't want it to get thick. It cannot get thick. I'm going to try to see if I can get a little better angle here, and I'm thinking I better not mess with it. When I pause next, I will try to fix that and give you a little better angle. So the oatmeal is having a little trouble getting mixed in there. Alright, we will get it to cooperate, and I'm not going to overblend because that will spell disaster for this particular design, as you'll see. So we don't want that to happen at all. I really don't want to bring it to trace, so I'm trying to be very careful about my mixing process here. Okay, and I've added some sodium lactate and mixed that into the lye water. And it is looking pretty blended. So I think that now what I will do next is do my colors. And I'm going to be using 4 colors here. I'm going to be using white. I'm going to be using black. And I will also be using a purple. Ooh, just did a big spill. Okay, so why don't I, because I'm such a messy pourer, I'm going to come back after my colors are all mixed. So I'll put you on. Okay, so I am back, and I've got my colors, my white, my black, my purple, and my yellow. And now I'm going to show you the mold, which looks really funky. So here is the mold, and this is just a regular loaf mold from Essential Depot. And since I didn't have PVC pipe, what I did is use some toilet paper rolls, and I used some rubber bands to hold them down while I'm doing the pour. So here's the plan, and we'll see how well we stick to the plan. The plan is to use the black and white in the mold part, and then to use the purple and the yellow to create florals inside of the tubes. So I'm gonna try to bring this in so you can see how I'm pouring as I'm pouring, okay? And it's gonna be a little hard to do because this is the loaf mold. It's not a slab mold. It would be easier to see if it were a slab mold. But basically, I'm gonna put down some white here. And then I'm going to put down some black here. And then I'm going to go back in with the opposite color in each corner. Now I do see this is not working perfectly. I see some of the soap is creeping into the bottom, at least of that one toilet paper roll. And it may be just that that one is not in a real good position. So I see that you can't see any of what's going on. So let me see if I can bring it up to you. It's actually not having a really hard time getting it to show up in the mold. So let me pour some more of this, and then you'll be able to see it, I think, once it's a little bit more, once it's a little higher up in the mold, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I realize that you are probably still not able to see really what's going on in the mold, but I'm going to continue to tape it, and then I'll look at it and I'll see if it's worth even sharing with anybody. But so the next thing that I'm going to do now, I've already used up all of my black and all of my white. So now I want to use the purple and the yellow, and I'm going to pour those into the rolls. So they are going to end up being sort of the flower portion, if you will, of this design. And I know that you probably still can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm hoping that as it comes to completion, you will be able to see it, because the next thing I'm going to do is take these rolls out, and I think that once I do that, you will be able to see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is just basically I'm going to cut these rubber bands, and then I'm going to lift up the tubes. So you should now start being able to see sort of the idea that I was getting at here. So what we've got are some yellow circles, and had I done a better job with my portions, I think it would have looked nice, because this yellow would have just been sitting on top of black and white. But because I had a lot more yellow than I did of the others, I needed to fill up the mold. I still think this is going to be an interesting soap. So I'm not fully giving up on it yet. Taking out the last of these, and I am going to pound it down just to make sure that it's kind of settled in there. So let me go away for a minute and do that. Okay, so I have cleaned up my mold and my workspace a bit, and I'm tilting this a little bit so you can see what's in here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a skewer. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to try to do some design here where I'm actually going through all of these yellow circles that have purple down at the bottom, if you remember. And it's also mixing up some of the black and white that's in here. So then I'm going to kind of go on an angle and go through these. And you can see on the top that they're sort of connecting, which I guess is a good thing. Okay, so here's what it looks like at the moment, and I'm going to do one more pass the opposite way, and once I do that, I think I'm going to just let it sit, and then we will see what it looks like after it's had a chance to form and settle. Okay, so not exactly what I was planning, but you know, this happens. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and here's what it looks like right now. I'm not going to put any glitter on it or anything. I'm just going to let it go, and I will post pictures tomorrow after I've cut it. So okay, we'll see together what it looks like. Thanks. Hi everyone, so it is the next day, and I have cut my Caribbean Escape. So I wanted to show you what they look like. Certainly they're not exactly what I was going for, but I think that it's an interesting bar. Waiting to get that in focus because there is purple in the center. So that's one side of the bar, and if I turn it over, you can see the big purple piece. See, that yellow was intended to go down in there, and it didn't happen because it got a little thick. But that's perfectly okay. We've got a kitty crawling, so I've got to just get him down where he belongs. And so just to show you a few more, and you can see the way that they've turned out. So overall, I am not terribly disappointed. I mean, I knew there was going to be a difference in using a loaf mold versus a flat mold, but you know, I just thought I would give it a try because it looked so beautiful. And since I didn't have the right materials here, I didn't have the PVC pipe and didn't have the proper mold to use, I thought I would give it a shot with what I had. And so it was an experiment, and overall I think the bar is interesting. It's different. It's definitely not the kind of thing, it doesn't look like flowers because, as I said, the yellow didn't go down. But overall, I think it turned out pretty well. So thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe. And I will say goodbye for now, and we will see you in the next one. Okay, have a great soaping day.